That's the question of the day. Who is caring for the people, the caretakers of the world? I invite you to keep that question close to your heart as we go through the message today. You know, I've heard it said, and it was early on in my ministry, that the only Bible that some people will ever read will be your life. You know, there's 1,000 scriptures out there. There's 1,000 Bibles and Gospels and Holy Scriptures out there that you can read to find who you are, to find out about this universe, and to find the face of God and the presence of God. But at the end of the day, set them all aside, because your life and your actions and your words and your behavior speak more loudly than any gospel. The gospel, the truth of you. You know, when people show you who they are, believe them. And I think it's important that we are aware that we are the angels. We are those who are preaching a gospel with every word that we speak, every action that we take. You know, part of the spiritual path, as indicated by the beautiful song that Larry wrote, is to take regular inventory of the people who are taking care of you, the people whose lives are a really good gospel, the people whose lives are a really good read. They are the living examples of love and care, compassion, and service to humanity. In fact, I want you to call them out. I want you to call the name of who comes to mind. The first one that comes to mind when I say, who are the angels? 1, 2, 3. There's energy. Did you feel the energy lift? When we speak the names of those caretakers, those examples of love, those testimonies to compassion, the energy arises in the room. Remember them today as I continue. These are the often overlooked people who demonstrate oneness, but are often taken for granted. You feel that? Those individuals whose presence in our lives exemplifies everything that we teach from this platform about oneness, about belonging, about kindness, about care. I like to call them angels with skin on. The people who make a difference when nobody is looking. When nobody is paying attention, they're still being themselves. They're still being the Bible, the gospel, the truth, the light, and the way. The Christ is living in them and as them. The Buddha is living in them and as them. The Atman, the Tao, whatever you call it, is that the perfect divine light that is singing and singing loudly when nobody is paying attention. Today, we look, we pay attention, and we remember. Daniel Boorstin once wrote this quote. I invite you to read it with me together. In our world of big names, curiously, our true heroes tend to be anonymous. In this life of illusion, the person of solid virtues who can be admired for something more substantial than his well-knownness often proves to be the unsung hero. These are the heroes. These are the shoulders we stand on. These are the actions and the kindnesses that we stand on. And a lot of people get a lot of recognition, get a lot of praise, make a lot of money, but these are the angels, and who's caring for those angels? It's a story you've probably heard before, but it bears repeating. The business student was on his final year of getting his business degree. He was so excited. He only had one more test to pass, and he would be done with his collegiate life, and he could start the business of his dreams. And he only had one test, and he went into the classroom and sat down, and the professor came and put a piece of paper in front of him, and the piece of paper only had one question on it. One question. What is the name of the person who cleans this building? Say that with me again. Read it with me. What is the name of the lady who cleans this building? Needless to say, he did not pass his final exam. His business degree had to be put on hold because he had not learned what was most important. Who cares for the angels that are cleaning this room? Who are picking up the trash after you? Who are serving you that you often overlook, that you don't pay attention? These are the angels we are talking about today. Yeah, the story says he eventually got his degree, but what he did is make the most important thing, and that is you and I belong to each other. I will learn your name. You know, I am so incredibly impressed. Susie and I take our good friend Dawn Gowing, I told her I was going to talk about her today, out to eat quite frequently because none of us like to eat at home. We go out and we eat. And there is not a restaurant that Dawn has ever gone to before that we take her that she does not know the name of every person who is serving us. There is not a person, they see her come in, it's like Norm from Cheers. but it's going the other direction. I see you, Bob. Thank you for your service. I wish I had that kind of remembrance and kindness in my life. But what happens in that moment, let me tell you, the service that we get just goes up exponentially. And I remember my good friend Woody, who came to this church last year, and he was here talking about suicide prevention. And the number one skill he said to us in that meeting to prevent suicide was learn the person's name and call them by their name. That says you matter. That says I remember you. That says I care for you. You make a difference. So Don Gowing is one of the angels among us, and I acknowledge you for your heart. Every single one of us is a culmination of people, seen and unseen, who have touched your life. People that you recognized and people that you did not recognize. Your life as you see it today, the good that you experience, that is absolutely the culmination of a whole bunch of people that maybe you never even recognized, that you never even saw. Well, today we recognize it, because if we don't recognize it, I'm going to call that privilege. And we need to rise above it and go, everybody matters. We need to know who is cleaning this rug. Does anybody know who cleans this rug during the day? You know, we were talking, Roland Moore comes to this church, and he's part of a crew, but I'm going to mention him. Roland Moore, for the last 10 years, has come every single Monday morning to wipe down, to pick up the Kleenexes that you all leave, to clean, to vacuum, to scrub, to make this place spotless for you. He has never done it with recognition or applause. Today, I applaud Roland Moore, who I believe is 85, 86 years old. And he says, this is my church. This is what I do. And he says hi in the morning, but I say, I so appreciate it. He says, I don't need any applause. But sometimes the angels need to know that they make a difference. We are the culmination of the unsung heroes who have touched our life, seen and unseen. Our lives are forever changed. We are the sum total of all the moments of somebody who held you up, of somebody who did something, who cleaned up for you, who picked up the crumbs of your life when you were down, who helped you heal, who saw in you what you had forgotten when you had forgotten it and did not allow you to play small. Those small, simple, insignificant acts, as judged by corporate America perhaps, that don't get the applause, that don't get the recognition. You have crossed paths with 1,000 angels, unknown. We said that last week. Paul wrote that in his letter. Be careful how you're behaving, because you were entertaining an angel without even knowing it. That means mindful. This means be conscious, be awake, be aware. Pay attention to what is going on around you, and remember that we belong to each other, not just in this room, but out there in that room. That we belong to each other in that room, which is the entire planet. We have crossed paths with angels. How many people know Charles Schultz? Yeah? Peanuts, Snoopy, Charlie Brown. Charles did this to a group of people one time, and he was blown away with the answers. And he asked this group of people, who were the last 5 people to win the Heisman Trophy? Nope. Didn't know. Who were the last 5 actors or actresses that won the Oscar for the best actor or best actress? They came up with a couple of names, but couldn't complete the list. Then he asked them, who were the last 5 people to win the Pulitzer Prize? They came up short. And then Charles Schultz asked the question, who were the last 5 people that made you remember who you are? Who were the last 5 people that saw you, that uplifted you, that healed you? The group couldn't hold it to 5 people. The names started to pour out. Why is that? Because our soul knows what's really important. Awards will fade. Trophies and paper on the wall will eventually fade. Maya Angelou said it best of all. People will forget what you said 5 minutes after you say it, but they will never forget how you made them feel. That lady who is cleaning this room will forget what you said 5 minutes after you say it, but will never, ever, ever forget how you made her feel as important, as worthy, as valuable. You know, there are a lot of accolades for those of us who stand on a platform and we get the applause. That's wonderful. I'm saying applaud for the people that are here week in, week out. Larry Rogers is one of those people. I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but he has served this church at the front door of this church for 25 years. Never got applause. Now, when I told Larry that, we worked the numbers, he says, man, I feel old. But the reality is that the man has been at the front door week after week after week for 25 years, never asking for any compensation. Not that there would have been any, Larry. But he's made a difference. The ministry does not start when I open my mouth in this church. The ministry starts when you come through the front door and somebody, an angel, says, I know who you are. I believe in you. I love you, and I appreciate you. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home, sister. That's the ministry. And that ministry happens in these seats way more than it happens up here on this platform. I'm going to read a poem. We're using AI today. I said, AI, give me something that makes me feel like Larry Rogers. And it was amazing what I got, so I suddenly put some different input in there. But this is a poem that I'm going to read. I'm going to ask you to bring to mind the people whose name you mentioned earlier. Bring Larry into your heart. And a spirit is alive in every one of these lines. I asked Ryan to play a little music behind. In fact, you can just close your eyes and put your hand on your heart and reflect on the faces reflected in this poem. Reflect on the people contained, the energy in this poem. To the hands that cradle, that steady, that soothe, to the voices that comfort in the quiet of night. To the feet that walk long roads beside the weary and the hearts that carry burdens not their own, we honor you. We thank you. Blessed are the nurses, the healers in scrubs, who tend to the weak with hands of strength, those who ease pain with skill and kindness and stay long after others have gone home. Blessed are the doctors, the ones who mend bodies and spirits, who press gentle palms to fevered brows and stitch wounds seen and unseen. Those who whisper, you are not alone. Blessed are the hospice workers, the guardians of the final journey, who sit beside the dying with hands unafraid, softening the passage with dignity and with love. Blessed are the police officers, the keepers of peace, who walk bravely into danger so we may be safe. Those who stand as guardians in moments of fear to protect, to defend, and serve with honor. Blessed are the social workers, the voices for the unseen, who fight for the forgotten, the abandoned, and the hurting. Those who sit in hard places and bring comfort to the vulnerable, reminding the world that every life has worth. Blessed are the teachers, the weavers of wonder, shaping minds with patience and light. And blessed are the parents, the grandparents, the ones who hold small hands, wipe away tears, and sing lullabies to the restless hearts. Blessed are the caretakers of the elderly, who honor the wisdom of time-worn faces and walk slowly beside those who once led the way. Blessed are the counselors, the healers of hearts, who sit in sacred silence with the broken, speaking hope into wounded souls. Blessed are the clergy, the shepherds of the Spirit, who stand at bedsides and pulpits and prison doors, who bear the prayers of the weary like offerings of gold, and remind us we are never, ever beyond love's reach. Blessed are the servicemen and women, the guardians of peace, the defenders of home, keeping watch while others sleep. Those who carry the weight of duty upon their shoulders and sacrifice so others may know safety. Blessed are the friends, the quiet lifelines who answer those late-night calls and dry those unexpected tears. Those who remind us of our worth when we forget and stand beside us through the storm. Blessed are those who feed the hungry, set tables where all are welcome, and fill empty hands with warm beds and open hearts. Blessed are those who house the homeless, offering shelter in the storm, and those who see beyond tattered clothes and weary faces, believing no one should be left in the cold. Blessed are those who clothe the poor and who wrap warmth around shivering shoulders, who stitch hope into every thread, understanding that love is not just spoken, love is active and given. Blessed are those who cook and clean and compassionately care behind the scenes, sometimes just making ends meet. You, the caretakers of the world, are the quiet angels among us, whose love and humanity light the way. Lifting, shielding, guiding, loving, you are the hands of grace, the voices of mercy, and the steadfast light in uncertain times. And today we say, thank you. Thank you. Together, thank you. So again, the question of the day is, who will take care of the angels that take care of us? Here's the answer I'm looking for at Unity North, at the spiritual community that I choose to be a part of. I want a resounding me. Who will take care of the angels that take care of us? Let it be me. Let me be the first to be quick to compassion. Let me be the first with care and the first to return love's bounty when I spot it. Let us have the minds and the hearts that unequivocally answer, me, I will take care of the angels.